Torpedoes still on our tail.
Classic films like The Hunt for Red October or 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea show just how difficult and terrifying it can be living in a submarine. Giant squid attacks aside,
Right full rudder.
submariners have to live in tiny, cramped conditions with just a bit of metal to protect them from the depths of the ocean or torpedo attacks. But if they're so dangerous and uncomfortable to hang out in, why is Australia going to build a whole bunch more of them? Well, it turns out they're actually pretty handy. Submarines are an important part of Australia's navy. Unlike other ships or airplanes, subs can easily hide under the water. That stealth, combined with the right sensors and weapons, means they can guard huge areas without being noticed. And given we live on a giant island, that makes them pretty handy for us. Australia already has 6 submarines called the Collins-class subs. But these vessels were designed way back in the 80s. So the government has announced it'll spend $50 billion to build a brand new submarine fleet.
The largest regeneration of the Royal Australian Navy since the Second World War.
The 12 new subs will be bigger than the old Collins class. On top of that, they'll be quieter. They'll have better weapons and better radars. Plus, they also have a pretty cool sounding name, the Short Fin Barracuda. A French company called DCNS has designed the subs and will be in charge of building them. But there's been some controversy around where they would be built. Many people wanted the subs built in Australia because it would mean heaps of new jobs and heaps more of the money spent building them would stay here. But the French company preferred to make them all in France, or the first few at least, because it would be cheaper and faster. The federal government looked at all of the options and after some protests from workers here, decided to build all of the subs in Australia. It might be a bit slower and more expensive, but the PM says it'll create almost 3,000 new jobs right here.
Australian workers building Australian submarines with Australian steel here where we stand today for decades into the future.
Another issue some people had was around the cost of the new subs.
Hey, how are you? Good day. Good to see you.
At $50 billion, those 12 vessels will cost more than the whole country's new national broadband network. So some questioned if we really need subs that much. But others say it's important to have a strong navy to protect Australia's borders.
These future submarines will be a vital part of our naval capability to 2060 and beyond. Well beyond the lifespan of most of us who are standing here today.
The first Short Fin Barracuda won't be ready for over a decade. But the government says these new high-tech submarines will be patrolling Australian waters for decades to come. And who knows what sorts of terrible foes they'll protect us from deep below the surface.